We're trying to find a spot on this lake to make a primitive shelter, do a primitive cook, and maybe catch a fish. Minnows. Should have brought the minnow trap. All kinds of them. Now we're trying to find the best place to set up without destroying the fishing rods. My whole leg's caught in it. So for our tools, we have a shovel, we have an axe, and we have a saw. I've got some wild foods that I did bring with me that we're going to cook in a primitive way that I learned from an Inuit guy, a native guy I should say, pretty neat way. So let's stick around, and right now let's get busy. So this is a pretty small lake. It's got some trout in it, and if we get everything done, we will be able to do some fishing. But for now, it's all about caveman and survival stuff. Is it faster with the axe? If you want a limb, that'd be a time lapse. How's it going?
Good, you?
It's like we just met each other in the woods.
Yeah.
Here's Jeremy, one wildcrafter. Go check out his channel. He's helping me limb the trees. They're getting bigger.
I think we could have gotten away with shorter tripods.
Much shorter.
So we can either spread the bases out or so that's good. I might just tie that in as a support. So I might just tie that other one in as a support. Safety stop.
So that's probably half the work, I would say, half the work. We got the back structure set up both sides, tripod set up, and then the lean-to. So we basically fabricated a man-made sort of lean-to, so that way we could put it where we wanted it, which is going to be next to the lake over here and the fire pit down below. Oof. Can't even pick that up. So there's a quick woodsman's shelter. Probably about an hour's work with 2 people. So that's not too bad. Got a beautiful view of the lake. Spin you around in a second, you can have a look. Trout awaits us. We'll see what we can do. Just working on the fire pit over there. We'll get that straightened out. And then we'll have camp pretty much set. We'll do a caveman cook too. I've got some grouse. Plan on doing it caveman style on a stick. Technique I've learned and I'm gonna try out today, see if it works. And then we're gonna hopefully add to the pot, get some wild foods. There might be some clams we can find if we can't catch a fish, but I'm hoping the fishing cooperates with us. Though the weather is pretty hot today, so it's not exactly trout fishing weather, but we'll do our best. Camp's looking great. Because we're on an island, I hope the bugs aren't too bad, but I've got protection anyway. Haven't been bit too bad with a short sleeve shirt, just a couple of deer flies, and those go away after dark anyway, so we should be in good shape. We got a nice pad here. It's kind of a moss pad. We'll just clear that out and we'll get our camp mat situated in our sleeping bag, and we'll have a woodsman's camp, survival camp, all built. Sweet. Just got a little bit of gear. Pot. Need my camp mat, and then the rest is mostly fishing stuff. So we can get this aired out because we were on an adventure yesterday at a different place doing a completely different thing. Check on the channel, lots of updates. Probably if you don't know about this one being the 5th update, you've missed about 5. So my stuff anyway is completely soaked because I actually thought it didn't rain, which means I completely slept through it. Jeremy told me we had a thunderstorm, which I knew about, but I kind of slept through, and apparently we got a little bit of a sprinkling. That's on top of the humidity because it's like 30 degrees Celsius, which is a little high for around here at this time of year. Not uncommon, but you know, people are kind of freaking out in the city about the humidex and all that, and you gotta stay hydrated. And here we are building shelters, living out in the woods. Gotta tell you, it's a lot cooler in the woods though. Not super cool, but it's cool enough. So here's my view from where I'm going to sleep. How sweet is that? Jeremy's out back cutting a little bit of firewood. He's got a pretty sweet fire pit going on here. I'm gonna try to figure out what he's thinking, but imagine it's gonna be a way to keep the heat in here. A lot of people build not necessarily cooking fires. This looks like it's gonna be more of a cooking fire where that heat is gonna concentrate down below. And then if you have any kind of way whatsoever to bridge a gap over here, like making a primitive rack just with some sticks, you can easily cook on it. The way people normally make fires is they make it all ground level, and then you've got to build up a structure above it in order to cook on it. But by making it down below, so it's kind of below the surface here, you can easily cook on it. And you can cook it on with a fire grate if you have something that's modern, and if you don't, you can easily make it. It just makes things so much easier. And he's got a nice cap rock, and if he can get another rock, he might be able to put it over top, and then we can put a pot right there, and the heat is going to come through there and heat things up really fast. So it's a pretty neat way to do it. Don't always trust that when you come to a campsite, any campsite anywhere, that they've done it correctly. Rejig it, make it work for you. I like to make an open face and then have the sides high, and then I can put firewood down in the front and then easily cook at the back. right, well, we finally got our camp set up so we can start thinking about food, eating. And then we're gonna cook our grouse. A little bit of a story behind these grouse. Jeremy and I went out, maybe, I don't know, I guess it was last year. And we did a hunt and we're actually successful. Managed to get a couple. So I'll add those clips in right now. You guys can watch that. And by the time you get back, we'll be ready to cook. Pretty simple walk through the woods, and we just happened to cross a couple of grouse, picked them off, and I've been saving them till we could meet again and eat them and enjoy them together. And now's the time. So enjoy these clips. What you got?
Last day of the season grouse.
Nice one.
And literally like seconds after you asked why I brought the gun.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check the traps, and Jack got himself, what's that gonna be, dinner?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good size one. Is that?
I think it's not.
No,
that
it's
big,
not.
but
It's this year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year's, but fully grown. I didn't even think to bring mine up this trip because the season's almost over, but obviously you can go right down to the wire on these things. You might be able to spot a hare on the way too. Did you get them?
I'm not sure.
I don't hear any flapping.
I felt the kick on that one. That was a.
That was louder.
It was like a high-powered upland game bird load.
Didn't seem like he went too far, but how long do you want?
We got lots to
Now
do.
he's
So
spooked, so he might come back.
yeah.
After on the way back.
And normally you can hear them fly, right, from a fair ways off, but when everything's muffled like this, you hear their initial flaps, but then you don't hear the rest of their flight, so it's harder to judge the distance that they flew.
You gonna flush? You gonna swing shoot him?
I might try. I only have 2 shotgun shells left though, so I feel like I shouldn't waste them with that.
Oh, he's over here now.
That's a second bird.
Oh, we got 2 now.
2 birds, 2 shotgun shells.
Oh, left side low and front side high.
Did you see 2?
I did, yeah. One low left here, and he went to the right too. He followed, well, the second bird up in the tree followed to the right, so they both hooked right. That was I just saw something fall off the tree there.
That was a blue jay.
Okay.
Over there. That grouse is right here in a branch.
You see him?
Yes.
You're gonna hit him?
Cover your ears.
I think you got him that time.
Yep.
That must have been a third bird.
Well, there was a blue jay in with them. We'll keep our eyes peeled.
2 down, and there's at least 2 left in the bush. So grouse is one of my favorite things to hunt and also therefore eat. And I've always kind of cooked them in, well, we've cooked them in multiple different ways. You can cook them, you cook it like a dry chicken breast, put it that way. So this recipe requires a fresh grouse, and we're going to pluck it, which is probably the most annoying way to process a grouse, but it is the way that we're going to do it today to make the most of it and to sort of make the spit roasting more palatable, because if we do it any other way, then we'll probably end up gonna, with a dry bird, make sure that the wind is facing the right direction when you do it. Not that direction, that's the bad direction, because those feathers are gonna go everywhere. And before you think you could just turn this into a pillow, you can't. I enjoy those comments immensely, but I'm not going to turn a dirty bird into a pillow. There's so much processing that you have to do to a bird before you can, or bird feathers, before you turn it into a pillow. There, after some time, you got a delicious looking bird with a few pin feathers on there that are going to burn off. That's the benefit of spit roasting it. All right, we're going to walk ourselves through this. You guys are going to help me. I'm going to help you, you're going to help me. So we got a couple of things saved back here. Got the little tiny heart, which provided all of the energy to this bird until it failed it. We let itself down. And we got the crop here, which we'll cut open and probably eat too, since this is about all we have until we catch a fish. So what I'm going to do, like if I skewer it like this, it's just going to be a blob, and it's going to be hard to cook evenly. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate the breast from the back, and we should be able to go straight down to the front, and then we're going to stay on the other side of the wings, and then we should be able to just save our knife a bit here. We get all the way through there, and we got our two sections there. So that will cook on one skewer, and then this will cook on the other one. So when you cook on a fire, it's hard to make everything cook evenly. So then we're going to take the breast and we're going to go down the breast here. And obviously there's some skin missing, and that's okay. We want to keep a little bit because whatever we do keep is going to keep the temperature or the moisture inside of the meat. Come up through here once, and then we're going to come back in again. And then if this side cooperates, because our fork is a little bit forky, and then in, and then back around. And if it's not perfectly aligned, that's just the nature of the business. And we'll do one more just for good, and then the same on the other side. And then whatever feathers are on there are going to burn off. Legs stay on top, and they're supported there. So there we go. Let me cook that one like that. So they're going to cook, because we've spread the meat out, it's going to cook a lot more evenly. So the gizzard's kind of funny. We open it up, and we actually don't want to cut all the way straight through because there's grit inside the crop gizzard, because that's what they use to grind the food up. You see all the little pebbles in there? So there's a muscle tissue in here that we can hopefully easily peel out away, and then that's going to take all of those stones with it. And then this is a very muscular organ, just like the breast is a muscular organ, and so it's perfectly edible, as is the little tiny unbeating heart. That is very delicious, that we've been looking forward to eating since the cold winter, the cold desolate winter. Thanks to modern technology, we were somehow able to preserve this wonderful beast for today.
So I think we're just gonna have to put up with a bit of smoke for a minute while these all catch and cook.
We're not ready yet? I can't put it on yet?
You can, it's just gonna be smoky with the hemlock bark, but
it smoked good though? Ouch.
I don't know if the hemlock bark is like a desired smokiness or not, but let's get a good bed of coals going in there.
Ooh. How's it going, Ziggy? You gonna barf up more of that grouse? Don't eat the feathers, they're no good. The feathers here are no good. Don't eat those, you'll barf them out. Alright, I'm gonna throw that on there. Smoke's going that way anyway, so. It's gonna be a little bit smoky anyway, no matter what. Jeremy doesn't want his bird right in the fire, and I don't blame him. Move him off to the side. It looks like a good bush meal to me. I finally get everything mostly situated to where we want it to be as far as woodsman skills. The rest is going to be angling skills. We're going to see if we can catch a trout out of there in super hot weather. Trout are a cold weather species. They don't like the warm that much, so we don't mind burning off a little bit more of this midday sun and get the evening bite. Hopefully we can stick a fish two ways, with a hook, with a stick on the fire, and do some more caveman cooking. The shelter's looking really good, and successfully found a pretty decent place to camp on this, and it happens to be an island, so we're doing back-to-back island survival challenges. Jeremy's waiting. He's got
Well, I just didn't want to make a big splash while you were talking, but if
Iggy,
you want to see it,
no, I don't want to see it that close. Iggy, Ziggy. What are you saying, Iggy now?
Yeah.
That's how I need some
I
food.
think you were calling her Gizzy earlier too.
Gizzy, gizzard. Yeah, we need some food. But she ate the head and the feet, and she ate a bunch of the feathers too. I can't imagine that would go down really well. So to cook, we're using hemlock bark, which burns really hot and for a really long time, so it means we don't have to continuously feed it. Hemlock bark, real good tip. Yeah, look at how good this piece of meat looks. Like this is like rotisserie chicken. It looks like. I could still see like the inside needs a little bit more, like inside the little crack. You probably can't see in there, but it still looks so good. Yeah, just the very, very middle needs to cook. That's working really good. I'm impressed. 3-ingredient Wadobo bread. We're gonna call it Wadobo bread. It's gonna be a new thing. So this is just masa corn flour. This is just olive oil. So we're gonna put a lot in there. A lot of olive oil, high temperature oil, like so. And this is masa corn flour, just mixed with water. We're gonna try to extrude it with one hand. It might not work. I'm gonna have to put the camera down. It's probably not gonna be like a complete patty, but it will form into one as it cooks. So that's it like that. And then we're just gonna take some adobo and sprinkle that on top to give a bit of flavor. Just like that. Bread. Jeremy's working on his sleep structure. I think he's well, I think I defaulted to I'm gonna sleep here. But this grouse is absolutely amazing. Like that is like rotisserie chicken. Like that's rotisserie chicken. I don't care who you are. That is nice, delicious, tender white meat. And it's not chewy. It's not chewy, even though it was fire cooked. Even though it was frozen, it's not chewy. It's a little bit dry because there's no fat in it. So the other thing you could do is braise it if you really wanted to. Like, you can pull that off just with your bare hands. And I'll tell you one thing, grouse is not one of those things that, like, people love to hunt them They love to eat them, but it's not like I love to eat grouse. Like grouse is my favorite food. Grouse is good, but it's oftentimes a chewy. It's a chewy meat. It's a chewy dry meat because of how people cook it. They try to cook it fast. They try to cook it like it's a chicken. They try to cook it like it's been brined and salt and loosened and aged. We don't age it, but you know what I'm saying. And brine the chicken, it's not. It doesn't end up chewy. You guys might be curious about the masa cake. Good. Or whatever. It's the rubbery bit that the chicken, the bush chicken, grinds up its food with. So it's probably gonna be a little bit chewy. It's good though. It's like the crispy bits of a barbecue chicken. As long as I don't mash into a piece of stone, I'm gonna say that. Besides it being chewy, it's like take the chewiness out of it. It's like a 10 out of 10. All right, let's go. You need a spinner, eh? You need some
a Trouty Williams wobbler that I might try out for. I think there's something big enough to get that.
Yeah, right. Probably. I do have like piles and piles of spinners. Oh, just a little spinner. We'll tip that with a worm. See if we can catch a wild fish. Or we'll have to get up early for the morning bite. It's a very small lake, so we should have at least a few fish see our lure. Spin, small blade. First cast, we're gonna catch a fish. Ready, Jer?
Yep. You got the net though.
Oh yeah, I gotta net my own. Well, they'll be a little bit deep with the sun. Still there. Still there. Oh, I had a bite there. That's a good sign. Had a bite. Just gonna check for a worm.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It bit my tail. Oh, that was a bite for sure. 100% bite. It bit both of my tails off. 2 bites.
Little bubbles?
Oh, there's a fish jump. There. Oh, there's tadpoles. Yeah.
Tadpoles way up at the surface?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's still more here.
Good bite?
Well, not big, but it was there. Bit my tail off. Just missed the hook. Where's the fish?
I don't know.
Oh,
Underwater.
yeah, I'm there somewhere.
I haven't brought any up to the air yet.
Oh, well, I missed 2 fish already. So they're here. They're just short striking that worm, which makes it really tricky because they're not, like, they didn't even get into the barb at all. Her double snagged. Jeremy snagged and I'm snagged at the exact same time. I don't know if you guys fish enough to know how to get a snag out, but you just go past your snag and then pull out the opposite way you got snagged in. Oh no.
Kind of a good fish.
I had a fish. I had one. And then it went in the weeds and I think it bumped off. Do the old jiggle jerk. Oh, look at that. Just past that tree. It's a beautiful line. We're gonna fish these trout like they're bass. Follow right to the boat and a smash from a 3-pound brook trout. It just did not follow the script. Well, the birds are nice at least, Jeremy. The fishing's not so great.
Yeah. Hermit thrushes and Swainson thrushes.
I'll take your word for that. They're just birds, Jeremy.
Not just birds.
Don't insult them. They all have names and species and genuses. Here comes a fish.
I've heard this confidence before.
Here comes a fish. It's gonna happen. I'm just dropping a thermometer down here to figure out if we're in the optimum zone for trout fishing, which is but probably not. It says 18 there, but... Well, we're back. Fishing was not great. Water temperature is 18 degrees, which is not good. That's like fish are like, especially brook trout, are just kind of shutting down at that temperature and waiting it out. Proud of this creation that we did in just a couple hours, really. Get this squared up. Looks pretty solid, and I think even if it rains, I'll be completely fine. So it has been a beautiful couple of days. If you didn't watch the last one, kind of more of the same, but we did caveman cooking this time. Built another different shelter, and on the last one we actually made a primitive smoker, so something a little different every time. Well, Jeremy's got quite the setup. You check him out at One Wildcrafter and you can learn how he makes these, like, it's like a tent. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a house. But it's got like meshing and tarp set up, so it'd be good, almost like a hunt camp, especially when you get rid of the mosquitoes and you can kind of leave it open air. But like this, it's like bug free. And then you get, what's good with the temperatures being so hot is you get like a gust of wind coming, which keeps it open and airy, which means you're not baking all night long. Bird?
Yeah, I wonder if it's got a little nest in there.
Just talking to Jeremy just now, and you probably can't hear on the microphone, but there's a time at night when the mosquitoes start to get a little bit more active, and if you stop and you listen, you can actually hear their wings start to warm up in the trees. So I'm hoping I'm safe on the island, but I'm sure mosquitoes can fly from the mainland over there here. Yeah, Jeremy said he could hear them too. He wasn't sure if there would be other bugs, but I think they're mosquitoes. It just starts to like a buzzy
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't like to go out in the sun, I was saying, because they dry out. So they wait for cloudy days or rainy days so they don't desiccate, because they're straight in the sun. They just bake, and they're a very small animal, right, with lots of surface area. They bake out. But the bets are off when the sun goes down. Well, guys, I'm going to get cozied up in my bed, and I'm going to enjoy the view and that one lone bird that wants to give me a course. And I'm also wondering, oh, there's a wild animal. Ziggy's saying goodnight. Good night, Ziggy. Oh, you're going to sleep there? I don't think so. He's right there. You got to go. You got to be protected. You got to get in there with Jeremy. Anyway, I'll take her back up, but... yeah, there's a course of bullfrogs, birds, hopefully not too many mosquitoes, and whatever else wants to drop in. So I will let you know how sleeping goes in the shelter, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning when we will do another fish. Wow. Morning, baby. This is my friend last night. Muscal. Just around the face. Structure held up. We got a tiny bit of rain, small amount of rain, and I'm going to try to maybe talk quietly, because last night we had a loon, a chorus of loons, but it was dark, so I filmed some of that, but I want to play the audio. I'll play the audio right now. If you guys never heard a Canadian loon before, they were just outside the front door here, and they seemed like communicating to loons on another lake, and they would sound off, and then they would talk back and forth. It was kind of cool. Got Ziggy here. Hey, Ziggy. Been waiting for a little bit of a pet. She's eating her breakfast and I'm about to eat mine, but yeah, structure held up really nice. Really happy with the simple setup, just the pad and sleeping bag. Okay. Biggie. So anyway, we're gonna get on with our day. Good dog. Good dog. Hey. Good girl. Well, we had our hand at fishing, not cooperating with us. I think it has quite a bit to do with the heat wave here, so we are going to duck out of this location. I did appreciate having you guys along for the adventure. You hit full stop if you watch the whole video. And I'll keep making bushcrafty, caveman-y type stuff for the foreseeable future, because I want to keep learning how to build things, and doing different cooking techniques is always fun, and new locations. Hopefully next time we find one with a bit more fish, because this one has been tough. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. All right, we're off. Try to get in the wind a little bit and get rid of these buggers. Catch a fish before the fish don't want to bite anymore. Well, we're doubling our efforts of fishing because we found out Jeremy yesterday was top riding his lure the whole time. So I don't think he was ever in the water, which explains why I had my 2 or 3 bites and Jeremy didn't have anything. So we're doubling our efforts this morning. Hopefully the water's 2 degrees cooler and the fish are active. We're trying some deep water tactic for a monster brook trout now. We're trying to get down as deep as we can, long line it, lots of heavy weight, and see if we can find like a giant fish hanging in a deep hole in the middle of the lake. So it might be our last resort here.